The Scarlet Witch has finally entered the meta. Hi everybody, my name is Abby. Welcome to a new video today talking about, in my opinion, the best carry DPS in the game. She has responses to a lot of different things. She does a really good job fitting into a variety of compositions, including dive, brawl, poke, and most importantly anti-dive. Now I'm not going to dig into all of that super hard. I'm going to be here to help you on how to carry with Wanda by herself, assuming you have a Doctor Strange on your team. Now the Doctor Strange team up that you need in order to be able to really push Wanda to the limits is crucial. So try to duo with a Doctor Strange, or when you're in the hero select, hit that little request for hero button and get that Doctor Strange onto your team. Now, assuming that that is the case and you have a Doctor Strange on your team, let's talk. Remember, this is a team-based game, so we're gonna need the teammates, we're gonna need the right teammates. Also, I don't think Doctor Strange is that bad. His nerfs are definitely felt, but Wanda makes up for it as she takes some of his arcane mastery and puts it upon herself. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into a game. Here we are on Hell's Hydra. I'm Wanda over here, and the most important thing that we want to do is during the early fight, during the first team fight, I'm going to pause over here and kind of like explain the thought process, because thought process is everything. What I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to take an off angle. An off angle is usually, the best way that I can describe it is, think of it as an angle that's away from the main line fight where you usually expect the fight to happen. Usually these are the different corners of the map. So this, what I'm doing right now, I guess you could say that this is me taking an off angle as I'm trying to look for high priority targets to take out. For example, high priority targets are usually supports, or if there is a DPS where my, like let's say the duel that I have with that DPS is very favored in my hero pool, I definitely want to try and isolate that other DPS and basically delete them from the game. Now, looking at the enemy heroes roster, obviously the supports are like my priority. However, Human Torch is a very easy target for Wanda to take out, especially with that new arcane mastery, right? So if you just look at like the hero selection on top right, then we move on over that. We kind of want to avoid wasting our time on the tanks unless we absolutely need to, or if we get pressured by them. Then we have Psylocke, which is honestly a decently skilled matchup, but Psylocke has to aim, and Scarlet Witch for the most time doesn't really need to with her left click, so we do have the higher pressure uptime. Now, ignoring that, let's see how I take this first fight over here. So typically I'm scouting, I'm looking around the map and seeing like what can I jump onto, and unfortunately I get immediately pressured and comboed by the Captain America, and this is where, you know, I cannot hold this off angle. I need to regroup with my team. So over there I just fade, in case I get comboed, and very coincidental for us, our invisible woman actually pulls in the overextending Psylocke, and this allows me to finish her off. So already we're off to a great start. Now with Psylocke gone, this means the enemy team is down a really big, a part of their front line is gone. So the front line is usually the tanks and the DPS, and in this case Psylocke was like, I guess you could say, their main line of pressure. With that being like known in the back of my mind, I know that I can kind of use my fade to get into the enemy team and now start deleting, the other people within that area. So what we're gonna do is, you can see I've noticed like what's going on in this fight. I'm just trying to safely get in. Notice that the Emma was low, so I tried to give her more priority than the rest. Isolated this Human Torch and took him out, and then I just casually walk in and delete that back line. Well, okay, I didn't really delete the back line. My team kind of helped out over there. I had a bit of a lag spike. I remember playing this match. I had a bit of a lag spike over there, so I just wanted to play a little bit more safe, and that's where you can see me like moving around a little bit more frantically. I was kind of waiting for everybody to stop teleporting on my map. But now what I'm trying to do is, again, I'm just trying to watch the different angles. I'm trying to keep an eye on my team in case there's an invisible Psylocke, in the back line. And over here, we just want to play with the team initially. I do activate the Arcane Mastery. I'm not going to lie, that was the wrong decision by me. Typically, you want to use Arcane Mastery either to poke out a tank that you and your team are on, or if you found a way to isolate somebody. Over here, this Arcane Mastery is also not bad, even though perhaps maybe it's used a bit too early, simply because it allows me to at least build ult charge. So in the worst case scenario, just make sure that you are doing damage with this. So look at that, I already have ult charge so quickly. And now from here, our priority is for me to like find a way to get in here. So I'm going to fade upstairs, just keep applying pressure, see if I can create some pressure. Typically I don't want to get too much attention, because of course, like, I am isolating isolating myself. My cloak and dagger, I really like this combo. Whenever I have a C and D, I ask my C and D, in this case she was my duo this game, I asked my C and D to ult on the floor and go in and create some space. Now with the C and D zone, it allows me to play Wanda into the zone and use it to keep myself alive, and that gives me a very successful ultimate that you'll see right now. So you can see I'm being healed up by the C and D zone. It gets me into the enemy, and unfortunately the enemy Invisible Woman kind of pushed me deeper into her backline, and I was able to destroy 3 people. And from here it's time for the cleanup duty. The Arcane Mastery comes out. Wanda, the Sorceress Supreme, puts in the work. Now unfortunately I cannot necessarily kill anybody through the Invisible Woman ult, but we have the fight won. So the enemy team should have reset because they are feeding ult charge unnecessarily. We have been able to stall at the point and push it to 60% from the 30%, which is very good for us in general. Now back again in the frontline war, we are helping our tanks. Over here we're pretty much just poking away. Usually I want to use the Arcane Mastery when I've run out of the Chthon Burst, and you will notice that. Psylocke also, I want to try and stay alive without using my the fades, the teleports, but if I have to use the fades, then what can you do? Try to just realize, okay, we've lost this fight, we're down 2 people, I need to reset, I can't risk dying, I don't want to feed, I don't want to be out of position, right? So that's how you like discipline your gameplay. Okay, I'm down 2-3 teammates, I'm gonna reset. Now I did get a little bit greedy for this Captain America kill. I thought he was actually gonna finish me off, but he didn't commit, jumping around to keep my hitbox moving. Unfortunately the Emma ultimate catches me here. And I actually thought, if I'm not wrong, I do believe Doctor Strange can break the line of sight or the charge time on Emma's mind control, but it never happened. So that was like my genuine mistake, and that's fine, right? Because if you watch my mistakes, you can learn from my mistakes, and I can learn from my mistakes, and together we can improve as players. Because the most important thing to understand is we're human beings, and we're not always going to be the best at something that we do. However, we are going to be the best over here as I really take out the Emma right away, get my revenge, and start going in with the Arcane Mastery, deleting the HP bars. 3 kills already for the Scarlet Witch, entering the fight, trying to predict where Psylocke might go and throw my stun over there. She does go to the high ground, and I'm like, okay, I know that she's somewhere on the high ground. She's in the back line. She's going to look for a play out my supports. I'm going to play close to my supports, and right there, I predicted her coming in for that play, and I was able to delete her. Now, she did touch the point to trigger the overtime. Maybe that was a coincidence, and over here, we just keep that frontline pressure coming in. We're able to defeat the people that are in the front line, and then from there, take the first Hell's Heaven capture point. And now, the best part is going into the Eldritch Monument. I have the Scarlet Witch ultimate, the Reality Eraser. So we're going to go straight into the team fight, coming in with Reality Eraser. Again, wanting to take that off angle, but also want to see where I can perhaps catch these supports. So let me just kind of readjust the gameplay over here. Hold on, we're having technical difficulties as they always do. I've noticed that the enemy support is overextending over here. You see my focus on the enemy Invisible Woman. She has used her double jump. We've gotten this ultimate out. I want to try and throw my ult here because I could possibly catch 3 people. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of shielding. There's the Captain America shield. There's the Emma shield. And if they've left the bubble, Invisible Woman's ult, sorry, then there's a chance I won't be able to catch them because I believe it does break line of sight, and I think it does affect Wanda's ultimate. If I'm wrong on that, please do let me know in the comments, because again, there's so many interactions in a game like this, it's overwhelming, right? And that's completely fine. So unfortunately, I do mess up the ult here, but the one thing that the ult does do is force the enemy to be zoned out, and that gives us a little bit more positional advantage. So when I'm entering here, Doctor Strange has a nice ultimate because we forced out resources earlier. Now we just have to stay alive and clean up the kills. I got myself a 1 or 2 over there, and over here I'm able to isolate this storm. Wanda is so good at isolating flyers, especially with the Arcane Mastery. Not to mention that Strange is also decently good into the flyers, so it's something nice to have. And then from here, we're just on that cleanup duty, making sure that we can win the fight as quickly as possible. Now, we don't want to go and chase for these kills because we are our team's frontline pressure. So I'm like, okay, if the Psylocke comes back, I'll delete her. I want to play in this little middle area in between my team while watching the different flanks. Now, over here, I do get a little bit greedy, and I'm like, okay, let me see if I can force this duel. And I did, and the Psylocke took the bait. She literally isolated herself from her team, and I was able to take her out. So that's where the Scarlet Witch really, really wins the game, is if you're able to isolate people and force them to take a duel. If they have an ego and they take a duel with you, 9 times out of 10, you should be winning that duel. There should be no excuse right now, especially if you have the Arcane Mastery. Now, in some cases, I'm not necessarily using the Arcane Mastery. I am using the rest of her kit, and I'm pretty good at landing some direct hits with the Chthon Burst to do some pretty big burst damage, and that's kind of what I'm relying on, to take over and control the game. Now, I also use my stuns over here. I'm just trying to create extra pressure, build my ult charge as quickly as possible. Reality Erasure is online, sliding myself into that back line. Want to help my Iron Fist that's ulting push in. Make sure we have that pressure coming in, and this is where Wanda thrives. Chaos. Chaos is where Wanda is the name of the game, and that is where Wanda will thrive. So you want to make sure that whenever you see a teammate creating pressure, Doctor Strange is ulting, your Iron Fist ulted, and he's going in, go in with them, help them create even more pressure. Wanda does not want to be the focal point of attention. She doesn't want to be the center of attention. You cannot be the person that the enemy team is looking at. If somehow, some way the enemy team is looking at you more often than not than the rest of your teammates, you might be doing something wrong, or your team isn't necessarily creating or following up on your pressure. If that is the case, be sure to play around the pacing of your team. Now again, continuing the gameplay from here, Star-Lord has isolated herself, and thankfully, my cloak has been able to take her out. The double suck is too good for Star-Lord, and he cannot keep up with it. Enemy team coming in with the disappear, and that is where Wanda has one of the few ultimates that can counter supports, and right there we take out Star-Lord and the Emma. I was about to say Emma Watson, but no, that's Emma Frost, ladies and gentlemen. Emma Frost taken out, the cleanup crew on the back line, and then help that front line. And there we go. That is how Scarlet Witch is dominating the game right now. Look at these stats real quick. Gonna pause the screen over here. 30 to 2, 13k damage in a near 6-minute game, which is pretty high. I don't know why I have damage block stats. I guess maybe it's if I'm fading or something. I don't really understand why I have damage block stats. Maybe that's a bug stat. I don't know entirely. Or maybe that's the damage I've taken throughout the course of the game. I guess it's a little bit bugged. Now the accuracy, 52%, not bad. So Scarlet Witch, very, very good character. And that was actually a pretty fair game on both sides. 2-2-2 on either side. Pretty good composition on both sides. But Scarlet Witch's ability to take isolated duels, to push people into a corner and bully them is so damn good. And look at those final hits. 19 final hits. 19 final hits. 19 of the confirmed kills are through me. That's what final hits means. It means you're getting the last hit. Usually you're going to get that if you either steal a kill from your teammate, or if you're able to take 1v1s and win them. To Scarlet Witch, is one of the best 1v1ers, if not the best 1v1er in the game. You have a great stun, great damage source. Make sure to take advantage of that. Now we're going to go take a look at another map for Scarlet Witch gameplay and then come back to it. Back here now with Scarlet Witch on the Wakandan Intergalactic Wakanda Empire map, payload map, defending it. So you've seen how to play Scarlet Witch in a more aggressive sense. I wanted to kind of visit both perspectives. What if you're playing Scarlet Witch in a defensive perspective? What are you looking to do? This is a ranked game. And the MMR in this lobby is about GM and some Eternity players that are, we're all kind of down in the gutter right now. The ranks have been reset. So, but I have checked the MMR, and that's the skill rating typically that all of us are, now, going to climb back to our original ranks and then kind of go from there. So the MMR is generally high over here. It's not an actual real low elo lobby. It's just like a mask that, Rivals puts on. So let's stop talking about that. We need to talk about how to play Wanda in this scenario defending. Now, typically when you're defending with Wanda, what I like to do is, you have the advantage of positioning. So what I like to do is you have to be really disciplined with your shift usage. I want to use my shift, the fade or teleport or whatever you guys call it, in order to take a bit of a higher angle in the sky and look for a support that I could pressure. So over there you can see I'm trying to see if I can burst down that cloak and dagger, and if God forbid somebody tries to push in on me, then all that damage I can throw at them. Now Emma is walking in. We have to be very careful with Emma. She has really high threat potential in diamond form. From here I'm just trying to help poke with my team, wait for that arcane mastery to come back online. Until then, we have to play safe and keep an eye on our supports just in case the enemy is playing any flankers. I'm not trying to get myself in front of my tanks. Please play behind your tanks. You have very, very good range. Walk with your tanks. Watch out for these type of Moon Knight gets a very fast ultimate there. I'm able to isolate this Moon Knight and secure the kill. He moved away from his team, and sadly I also moved away from my team, so I was caught over there. And you can see, you have to be careful with positioning. Positioning is pretty much everything, and Wanda's survivability did take a nerf. The fade is 0.5 seconds slower in a game like this. That's a pretty big deal. And the fade, I believe how long it takes for the fade to come back, that is even longer than before. Now, thankfully, my team is able to stabilize that fight, excuse me, and I have my Reality Erasure online. So my priority in this coming fight is going to be use my Arcane Mastery to look for high priority targets. At the moment, the Iron Fist is what I concluded that, okay, Iron Fist is a pretty good tank buster now. He is a very big threat to the back backline. I want to see if I can catch him. Now, for some strange reason, this Jeff decides that he wants to be funny in this ranked game, and he's just off angling and trying to DPS, and sadly he does catch one of our teammates, but I'm able to isolate him, and lo and behold, another target that I could isolate with Moon Knight. So Scarlet Witch, like we've talked about before, her strength is if you are alone and the witch finds you, bro, she's gonna come after you like she did in that Multiverse of Madness movie on Charles Xavier and snap your neck. And that's what I'm doing when I find these people by themselves. I'm snapping necks on the Scarlet Witch. Moving on further with the Scarlet Witch, we're just pretty much helping our team push over here, seeing if we can catch some picks or not, stun them, just keep that uptime, right? Uptime high. We have to keep our ability uptime, our damage uptime high, make sure we're always participating one way or the other. Now over here, the enemy team is low, but I do turn around to look back because my team was calling out that, hey, we got a Jeff in the backline and he's kind of doing a bit of dirtiness. Now, the one good thing about Jeff, what is Jeff doing right now? He is isolating himself, which makes it easier for us to make him run away and regroup with his team. Now, I want to look for reality erasure. Enemy team is pushing in. I don't like it. Even if I get one kill over here, it's fine. We need to stop this push as quickly as possible because Jeff did get 2 picks, I think, on our backline. However, that led into a big reality erasure play. We just deleted 4 people, continuing this gameplay loop with the Scarlet Witch being able to carry that fight. And I, honestly, I was just trolling with this Magneto. I said hi to father and I said goodbye, father. I killed 4 people. The mutant extinction is upon you. Don't force my hand with the Scarlet Witch. Now back again with the team, the Thing and Doctor Strange holding down this front line, trying to keep the pressure on the Emma shield so that if she does take a longer fight, that shield does not have that much high uptime and breakpoints. But again, this Jeff, he is a threat. He is pretty good at DPSing, but he is isolating himself. So we want to give him attention as quickly as possible. And over here, we're in a pretty good scenario. Now, the Jeff catches 3 of my teammates, but I'm like, no, I have to catch the Jeff. Arcane Mastery online, big burst damage, take out the Jeff, save my teammates, and now we can retake this point over here, sliding myself back into position where I have a bit of high ground advantage, give the enemy uncomfortable angles when they're trying to take the duel with me, slide down here to touch the point a little bit. Sadly, I don't think that, I don't think I could turn this around. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Just kind of doing my best to keep poking at them. I can't really get into the backline because the Cloak and Dagger was in cloak form and they did fade out of reality, and I couldn't chase them. So over there, all I can really do is try to pressure out the other tanks. Now, unfortunately for us, enemy was able to capture it, but not that bad of a situation to be in because we have been able to burn so much time, and time is of the essence. Because so much time has been burned, it means the enemy team doesn't really have any momentum going for them. They're just barely winning these fights, which means that typically when it becomes our turn to attack, we're going to steamroll them. But you guys have seen the attacking side. I want to, review the defensive side. So again, you can see that on the defensive side of playing Wanda, we typically don't want to, slide into the backline way too much unless absolutely necessary. We're just kind of trying to peel for our teammates and see if there's anybody making a mistake, isolate that person, take that isolated duel, and then delete them from the game. Of course, as always, guys, if there's any more advice that you need that perhaps the video does not showcase, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below and I will get back to you and I will try to advise you further, right? So again, over here, just trying to keep that pressure high. Once I saw that there was 3 people looking at me, I was like, okay, I don't want to die. I don't want to feed. I'm gonna get out of here. Unfortunately, Emma did extend herself and I do get caught over here. And again, like Emma, I'm not that used to playing against Emma, against good Emmas especially, so I don't really know like their range and everything. She is relatively still a new hero. It's been barely a week since she's been out and in rank, so I was kind of learning the distance that I have to keep from Emma. So Emma, definitely one of the targets. She can even shut down your ultimate, so do respect good Emma players. Try to avoid them and only take the duel if your team needs it. Now over here again, isolated duels is the name of the game. Iron Fist refuses to respect the Scarlet Witch pick. I see a nice opportunity for reality erasure over here. I'm like, okay, the enemy team is grouped up. I want to go in. I want to erase this reality. Charging up that reality erasure, sliding myself in nicely, and sadly the cloak was able to catch me. Unfortunately, didn't really have any healing or any resources from my tank to be able to stay alive. But imagine if that ult went out. That was 4k right there. We could have stopped them. But it's okay. The team has been able to control the point from here. Now, sadly, I did feed the Iron Fist's block. I was just in the pure panic of the moment. Yes, even coaches and high-level players like me can give in to the pressure of shit, I need to do something, and I kind of gave in to pressure there. I remember that moment, but then over here I had to tell myself, okay, calm down, focus, look for those E's, look to slow down momentum. look to get that angle with the arcane mastery and take them on. Over here we're just stalling for point. It is last fight territory, and you know, I'm so close to the arcane mastery, but my cooldowns are down. I'm feeling really awkward here. Strange gets a huge ultimate. My priority is to take out the support. Strange helps out from there. I get my arcane mastery back, sadly get taken out by the Groot wall, but I think it's more than enough for us to stabilize, and we are able to turn around this fight. Bucky for some reason cannot aim. Sadly Hydra didn't just take his arm but his eyes too. Poor Bucky. Everybody drop a hashtag give Bucky his eyes back. Hashtag eyes for Bucky. We need Bucky to get some help in the eye department, but it's okay. We're back here with Scarlet Witch closing in on that ultimate. Iron Fist decides to isolate himself again. Might as well just call him the isolated fist because of how isolated he is 24/7. I get into position. I want to take that Moon Knight. Pure chaos comes in at the last second, and boom, 3k for the Scarlet Witch, and that's how we turn it around during that overtime fight. One more 5k for the Scarlet Witch, but Doctor Strange, Daddy Strange stays from me at the last second. It's okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Scarlet Witch is one of the best DPS, best duelists that you could be playing right now. High carry potential. Just look at that performance over there at that last round. Let me get the stat sheet up over here, rewind this VOD real quick, bring up the stat sheet. Quick peek at the stats will show you the performance. Look at that. 18 elims. I got the ace. I got the MVP. We got the 50% Chthonian burst accuracy. Damn, my aim is good. And then also over there, you can see we have 60% accuracy on the overall gameplay. 14k damage done. So Scarlet Witch, definitely a threatening character to go up against, especially if Doctor Strange is in the lobby and enabling her further. So I will say the biggest preface, the biggest asterisk on this is you do need Doctor Strange. And with the Doctor Strange against most compositions with Scarlet Witch, you can do quite a bit. So anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed this type of content and you want more educational Marvel Rivals gameplay, guides, and more, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I will be doing so much more for all three roles. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.